All right, guys, Hangout is live. Here we go for TWiP episode 466. Hey, folks, welcome back to another episode of This Week in Photo. I'm your host, Frederick Van Johnson. Joining me to discuss some modular and interesting stories happening in the news and the photography news this week are Mr. Tim Engel from Tim Engel Photography up in Sacramento, California, and Sharky James from a little site called Petapixel. He's the guy behind the Petapixel Photography Podcast. Hey, guys, welcome to This Week in Photo.
How you doing, Fred?
Frederick, welcome. Well, thanks for having me, I should say, I guess, yeah.
All right, you know what, and right off the top of the show, I have to issue some disciplinary action. I hate to do this. You know what I'm going to do, right, Tim?
Yep.
You know what I'm going to do.
Cut my head off?
No, Mr. James,
Yes.
This character known as Fred died many, many years ago. I killed him, and I buried him in my backyard, and from the ashes of Fred rose Frederick.
Frederick.
So, unless you want to raise Fred from the dead, then, it's Frederick. So.
Who knew that was a sticking point?
It's not a sticking point. It's just, it's just, in high school I was known as Freddie. So, but only by girls.
Obama was Barry.
He can be Barry. I was Freddie in high school, and my male friends called me Fred. Girls called me Freddie.
Anybody call you Rick?
No one ever called me Rick. No, Rick.
So when you come out, I'm going to tell the models to call you Freddie.
They could, depending on the model.
Okay. How about Nicole?
There's a sliding scale.
Okay.
It's a sliding scale.
They can not only call him Freddie, they can call him.
Yes. No, they can't call me. Not available. Not available to models except for photographing them. Sorry. Models are not for that. Okay.
Whoa, did you just say that? Okay, that's the show title. Models are not for that.
They are not for that.
It's not going to get better than that, is it?
They're not. I'm telling you. It's, the model photographer relationship has to be completely professional. And Tim, right? I mean, if you even hint at you might be willing to even think about crossing that line, all hell breaks loose and it's no fun,
And that's why I always have my crew.
There you go. There you go.
There are no GWCs on this panel today.
No. I'm a G with many C's. Look at all those C's.
Oh.
I'm rolling in the C's. This right?
It's raining C's.
It's raining C's. All right. And for the folks that are listening to this, I'm pointing to an array of cameras that I have on the shelf behind me.
That never get any use anymore. No.
They don't get any use because I'm always doing this, right?
Yeah, I know how that is.
So they just sit back there and they tease me. They say, if you were actually a working, real photographer like you guys, you would you actually use us and actually have some actuations on the shutters of those devices.
I think Tim's the only one who's doing any shooting these days.
Tim,
the rest of us are podcasting or something.
I know we're content creators. We're not photographers anymore.
Our stuff's all devaluing as we speak.
It totally is. It's like it's the de-evolution of the photographer, right? I would say, you evolve from a photographer into content creator. You kind of, it's kind of like a divergence, like like a bonobo splitting off from a chimp,
Well, I'm heading that way too, apparently. So the content.
I love it. All right, guys, you can already tell this is going to be a fantastic show. I love it. Let's jump into story number one. This story, Bruce Clark, our show notes writer, pulled this up, as well as story number two, and I thought these two would be good to talk about together because of kind of they're related. So the first one comes to us from F-Stoppers. It's about Craft Camera. They're developing a modular new 4K camera system. It's about $3,000, and if you look at it on the website or click through to F-Stoppers and check out their blog post on this, that it's a camera. Basically, the gist of both of these stories that we're going to talk about is these are cameras that you can, kind of transform together or Lincoln log or erector set, Lego together to make the perfect solution for the job that you're doing. So you're never like, oh man, I should have bought Model B because this Model A that I bought has this feature or doesn't have this feature. You can buy Model A, then later go buy a little modular piece and craft it on there or stick it on there.
Craft it on there?
I know. It's right, I'm helping these guys out, right? But you can stick it on there and have a brand new system. So, Sharky James, looking at this, I mean, when I saw this, and the story number 2 that we're going to talk about is Google's Project Ara. But when I saw this one, I was thinking, okay, would I use something like this? Is this for me as kind of the prosumer photographer? Do I care that, okay, I'm missing feature A in this camera, so I'm going to go buy feature A and put it in there? Or I need to create the perfect Frankenstein solution for this job? Or do I just buy the right thing and go shoot? What do you think?
I think this is the kind of camera you get when you just want to go rogue, right? You don't want any of the other stuff that's out there. You want to be on the bleeding edge. You're like, Craft, never even heard of them before. Where did they come from? But this thing looks cool. Yeah. This is a really cool thing. Modular. So, if you need full HD video, also known as 1080p, you can get that. If you want 4K, you can do that. And it's only $3,000, I guess, I don't know, for maybe a certain kit. So 3K for 4K. Right?
Yeah.
I'm here all week, Frederick.
Yeah. No, that's okay.
But here's the thing that I noticed. It's available in EF, MFT, and PL mounts. So you got Canon EF, you've got Micro Four Thirds, and you've got PL, which is mostly RE and RED cameras, I believe. Where's Nikon in there?
Right.
I mean, have you noticed there's more and more companies that kind of just like forget about Nikon F mount? Am I the only one that's noticing that? And I'm a Nikon guy. I got Sony, but I've been Nikon for a long time. Canon as well, but
I still have all my Nikon gear. Yeah.
Yeah, devaluing up there on the shelf.
Every single day, I notice some value leaking on the floor in the cabinet next to.
But what do you make, Frederick, or maybe you, Tim, about the exclusion of Nikon F? I mean, there are a ton of people out there with Nikon F glass. Why didn't they include that?
I would say, and Tim, you can chime in on this, I would say they didn't exclude it, right? Because the fact that this is modular, they probably said, and this is me armchair quarterbacking, they probably said, well, hey, we'll launch with these things, and as the market demands it, we'll build these other things. So they can build a Nikon F-mount module and stick it on this thing, right?
Yeah, and I think the cinema guys right now are all Canon guys. Majority.
No, I mean, they're Panasonic Lumix with GH4s or whatever. They're Canon, and they're shooting Reds. I mean, they're all over there. And now, increasingly, Sony, because Sony has 4K, and they solved that whole recording inside the camera body issue. Shooting 4K. Now you can actually use Sony awesome A7 series cameras to do professional level video work. So it's all over the board.
I get what you say about, okay, this is modular, and they could make Nikon F, but why come out with Micro Four Thirds available first? Why not? Don't you have to go with the big two? Don't you have to have Canon EF and Nikon F? Yeah. In addition to the more pro level PL stuff, why go? It's like just a big slight to Nikon, I think, and maybe for a good reason. Maybe they think the market isn't there, or maybe they think Nikon's not going to be quite as strong.
I mean, but why? And I'm just, I haven't even tried this camera. None of us have tried the camera, right? So we're speculating, as we tend to do from time to time on This Week in Photo. But I mean, looking at this camera, like, why not? Looking at the Micro Four Thirds system, it's a robust system with a myriad, uncountable number of lens options available to you. Why not build for that system instead of tying yourself into another system that may or may not be upgraded or enhanced later?
So are you saying that maybe Nikon's future isn't looking as great as Canon's and others? Because
it's not just me, bro. It's not just.
I know.
I wish they would do something freaking awesome, but they haven't done anything. I mean, it's what they're doing.
People get upset when I say that. I said to someone, I go, I think Nikon's going to be, I don't know about non-existent, but not a big player in 10 years. And I'm not going to say who. Somebody we all know said, bro. Well, I didn't say bro. You said bro. 5 years tops. 5 years. And just look at this. I mean, what percentage of the market is Micro Four Thirds versus Nikon? I mean, we're talking glass, of course, because that's the glass you're going to put on it. Right. What percentage is Micro Four Thirds? It's got to be tiny compared to Nikon.
Sure.
I don't have those numbers. I don't have those numbers, but I would agree. Tim, I want you to jump in because you are the Canon shooter. No, you're a Nikon shooter.
I'm Nikon.
You're the Nikon shooter, so you represent that crowd of people that I'm referring to that okay, so there's this group of people that have their Nikon cameras, and when I was up there in Sacramento, a couple weeks ago, and you had that giant camera, versus what did I have? I had the Osmo with me that day, right?
Yeah.
So, and it's just sort of like, okay, that doesn't seem current, in a lot of ways. And yes, I look at that camera, and I know that you particularly can take that camera and make it do, tap dance and do whatever, because you rule that thing. But then I look at the technology that's out there, and Craft with this thing that they're pushing out are kind of saying, well, we're going to go in that other direction. What do you say to this?
Well, I mean, it's as a pro, I mean, I couldn't look at a system like that because I can't use it. I'm not going to buy new lenses. I would have to have something that would let my lenses work with it.
Right. Yeah, but that's the legacy stuff, though.
So they've excluded you from the start.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, and of course, now I look at the price here for $299 is the mount. So I mean, it wouldn't be hard to make a mount, I would imagine.
Yeah.
And then just open up a whole new market. So.
But if they made a mount, if they made an F mount for this thing, would you buy it? I mean, does the modularity, does it fit in what you would do? I mean, because you'd have to, like, all the muscle memory that you've built in with your Nikon camera right now would go out the window. Would the benefits that you get from having this modular system outweigh getting the job done quicker with your older system?
Well, I mean, and of course, I'm not doing much video, but I like the idea of having a modular system because I don't need, a full cinema setup.
Mm-hmm.
For stuff that we do, I need like 20 and 30-second clips of things.
Yeah.
And so then I could choose the system that I want. I mean, you're looking at this, I'm looking at what, on the price here, it's $998 for just the studio setup. That's actually not bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty competitive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have to do that if you have a new product, right?
It's competitive, but again, it's like, okay, you got all this other stuff in your arsenal right now. Is it competitive enough to make you want to switch over to something like this? In other words, is the modularity of this next generation system, is the siren song of it enough to get the sailors to crash your ships?
Well, what's the compelling feature here? Like, what's the thing that's going to make you go, wow, I need to have that? And I think that for people, it's going to be, I don't, I looked at it a little bit, but I didn't see anything that really stood out to me. I think the big push, and they're pushing this, is the modularity. Mm-hmm. And so this is going to appeal to people that are, that want to put things together, want to have options, and just like that ability to be able to change something. You buy like a Nikon D5 right now, and it's a Nikon D5 forever.
Forever, yeah.
Forever. And so you buy this thing, and there's those options available to you for the future.
Yeah.
So maybe that's it.
Is this the future, though? Is this the future of camera bodies, modular?
Well, look at the Red when that came out a long time ago, right? That was modular, right? I mean, there was different parts to it and everything, so this really isn't even that new. This is just a new company that's doing it.
I think there's modularity coming in a lot of things we use. I mean, I think that, and I had stuff early, I had, of course, now it's all built in, but of course I had to do, Wi-Fi, and I had to do grips, and I had to do those kind of things according to my needs. But I like the idea of the modularity a lot. I think that.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense because it kind of makes, for me, it kind of makes me feel, when I look at it and I kind of sit back and I think about the implications of having a modular system. It's like, okay, that's kind of cool because I can have all these different pieces and I can see my little film, or not my film, but my gear locker will look completely different because depending on the job that I'm going to shoot, I could reconfigure Megatron to do the particular job that I need to do. But it makes me feel, I don't know, antiquated when I look at my old gear, and I'm like, wow, you guys aren't modular at all, aside from your lens mount.
Well, see, here's the thing, Frederick. When you're modular, you have options. Options are always good.
Yeah.
When I used to be a photojournalist, I don't know if you're familiar with Think Tank Photo's modular belt system. So there's the belt that goes around you, and it's padded, and it's got the different pouches.
I'm gonna look that up.
I wouldn't rock all 6 or 7 pouches that I had at every assignment. You don't want to carry more weight than you need to. So if I was shooting a particular event, I might only have 2 pouches. The rest would be locked up in the car.
Yeah.
But if I needed to, I could roll with all of those. So having options available is good. And maybe this is, I don't know, maybe this is what the world needs.
I think so. I mean, yeah,
Who knows?
I was on a YouTube binge earlier today, and I got on this Elon Musk SpaceX kind of tangent, right? So
I thought you were going to say PewDiePie.
no, that was yesterday. No, so so I'm looking at, I'm kind of getting up to speed on what SpaceX is up to and what their mission is and who their competition is and all this stuff. And one of the things that rang true from one of the speeches that Elon Musk was giving was SpaceX believes the future is reusable, right? So that's their whole thing, is to make space exploration and space flight cheaper by reusing the components and being, obviously being able to land the booster rocket back down on the ground, clean it up, refuel it, and send it up again, right? So then I was thinking about this show. I was like, it's kind of what we're talking about here on a much, much smaller scale, albeit. We're looking at these, you invest all the money in this kit, and it doesn't go away when
Right.
the marketer or the company says, hey, you know that thing that we told you was the best thing ever for photography last year? No, really, this thing is the best thing ever. So get rid of your old thing and go buy this, right?
Sure.
So,
If
Tim,
I,
do you think is that the future though?
well, I mean, if I have the option of adding a new sensor in 2 years when the technology improves, and that sensor module is only $400,
Mm-hmm.
that's not a terrible thing.
It's not for us, but then
Right.
okay, both of you guys chime in on this. So then you think, okay, if the future is modular and this is going to lead the way and all the other companies are going to fall in line and start building these pieces of cameras that you can put together to make your ultimate camera and then change it out as different pieces of it get enhancements, that changes the whole business model of all these other companies, of what they've been doing since the beginning of time. Is that even possible? Since they've been rolling out, hey, here's the new camera at CES or Photo Plus Expo or WPPI or whatever, you need to go buy it. That goes away, and the price points would presumably drop as well. Sharky, what do you think?
How does this work? So let's say when the D6 comes out, it has the ability to change sensors. So then, eventually you put in a different sensor. It's no longer a D6. It's like a D6 Plus or something like that, and then you got to
D6N.
Yeah, so what is that then? And then, like you said, how does this change the business model? Are they going to make more money being able to sell you, an upgrade? How much they make when you sell your old D5 and you get a D6 versus, well, you pop in a new sensor. Is that all you're going to be able to do at that point? I mean, what else are you going to pop in? A new pentaprism or?
Right. Yeah. Light is light. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think sensor and mount are the things that strike me. Mostly sensor and mount.
Well, sensor
maybe
mount,
maybe connections, right? The
well,
connections.
storage.
And storage. Yeah. So everything basically.
Okay, so we just designed a new camera.
Yeah, we just did.
That's
So
right.
storage and everything. I don't know.
Well, and Fuji, I think, plays kind of like edge of that because they've updated their operating system on the Fujis quite a bit. And I think Sony has too. So you're getting new features in software.
Yeah.
Nobody does it like Fujifilm. I mean, they come out with updates via firmware that give you things that you would probably buy a new camera for.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Fujifilm guys and girls are just diehards. You think the Sony guys and gals are. I mean, Fujifilm people love their cameras, and they're wonderful, great cameras.
Yeah, I think just people in general love their cameras, and I would attribute some of that love to being what I call digital Stockholm syndrome, and the other part of it is, just genuine love of that particular system because your synapses tend to work with the way that OS and the camera feels in your hands and all that. So you develop that bond, but a lot of it is, hey, I paid all in like 20 grand on this system. I love it, and yours sucks.
That's why people get so upset about these things. They have so many thousands of dollars invested. They're just tools. I always talk about theoretical photography. These are people that, well, I don't shoot a whole lot these days, but that aside, right? Yeah. The people that go on the forums and they're complaining about this or that, and they never actually do any shooting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The pixel peepers and all that. Yeah, I know. And I feel like I'm falling. I'm right on the event horizon of falling into that vortex, man. Seriously, I need to fire the booster rockets to get out of the gravity and go shooting.
That's right.
You're playing with that drone too much.
I know. I need to play with more and get out and shoot more because I'm like here doing this virtual stuff rather than actually creating content. The other thing I had on my list to talk about with regard to this modular camera is one of the big selling points for a lot of people out there is weatherproofing and weather sealing. And I wonder, a camera like this, the more pieces you introduce into a system, obviously there are more points of failure by orders of magnitude when you buy this thing. Is that going to be an issue? I wonder if this company, if Kraft has addressed that issue. Can I take this thing out to the Sahara?
That is why this thing came with a rain hood.
That's it. That's your weatherproofing.
Didn't you see that? There's a little slot, and you just like put your. No, I don't know. It has to have been designed for that, right? I didn't see any O-rings or anything in that animation, but
no,
it has to be
metal to metal to me. That's
yeah. But well, when you get to the more critical parts, those must be right, and those are deeper in. It looks like, and there must be some kind of sealing. There has to.
Well, and the shape of it's so easy to like make a cover.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe that's another price point thing that they can leverage.
Another module.
Oh, you wanted the weather sealed one. Oh, that's $20,000.
The lens coat will just come out with something, right?
Yeah. But I think these guys, I mean, I applaud these guys. I am really excited to see if this kind of camera body takes off. I mean, I love anything that kind of erases the whiteboard and starts again, because you look at all the cameras that we have, they're all generally the same form factor, from DSLRs all the way down, to your point and shoot Micro Four Thirds or 1-inch sensor cameras. They're generally the same. Shutter buttons on the right side, it's all the same. Why not just erase the whiteboard and start again? And
well, I think
that's what these guys did.
We're at a time now where it's like photography arose out of the film days, and it's like that was the model that we just kept evolving, and now we're rethinking that shape and that form, I think, more now than ever, which is cool.
Mm-hmm.
I know what Nikon's going to do to stay competitive. They're going to come out with a left-handed model.
No, Nikon and Leica have been on this let's remove features kind of tangent lately. So
don't get me started on that Leica.
They'll come out with a Craft camera that is all one piece.
Did you say a Craft camera or a crap camera?
Craft.
And it only shoots sepia.
Craft. Yeah, it only shoots sepia. Yeah, it only works during certain times a day. It'll operate.
And you can't turn it vertically.
No, rough.
Don't give them ideas, man.
Bye portraiture.
Oh man, yeah. Or it'll just shoot square. That's it. So
yeah.
That's it. You don't have to worry about that. It's Instagram.
Yeah, some Hasselblad thing we've heard of before, right?
Yeah. Did you guys ever get? I went every now and then. Still to this day, I get on this little tangent where I'm gonna shoot square all the time. I'm gonna shoot
sure.
1-to-1 is cool, and then you find that you're restricted too much and you go back to landscape.
I find myself missing my Mamiya RB67.
Yes, I love that thing.
Why did I sell that darn thing?
Ka-clunk, right?
There you go. Forget 35mm. We'll all go in medium format now.
I love that.
I have the Veronica. I have the Square, the SQI, and I still look through it, but I don't shoot film. I'm not going to shoot film.
Yeah. Tim, what aspect ratio do you shoot in? 4:3 or 3:2?
With the Nikon?
Yeah.
What is it? Full? It's like, was it 4:3?
Oh wait. Oh, I'm sorry. You can't change your aspect ratio. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding.
Every chance you get, you like beat me up on your.
I forgot that you can't change the aspect ratio.
He walks into the studio and he has this little bag and he goes, "Here's my bag. Where's yours?" And mine's over on the table.
Tim prefers to crop.
Frederick pulls his fanny pack out and his camera gear's in that.
Fanny pack. I love it. I love it. All right, Sharky, what aspect ratio do you shoot at?
I'm not shooting these days.
Oh, you're not shooting 0-0 then, right?
Yeah. No, I've got I had a Nikon D4S and a D750. I sold those to the Miami Dolphins.
Did you really?
Well, a good friend of mine, John Willie, is their he's their head photographer and head of their imaging department, and so he knew that it was on the shelf, like all those cameras back there for you. It was just on the shelf collecting dust. This was back in the early days of my podcast, so I sold those. I still have my D700, which you will have to pry out of my cold dead hand. There's just something special, that D700. And then I've got a D7200 that I use every once in a while.
I remember the days of getting that gold box in the mail, or when I was in the military, just kind of dropped off at my desk. It's like
Christmas.
Yeah, it's like, oh,
It's
it was like
fun.
a rite of passage to open it up and like, oh,
And then
you
you
know,
saved all the boxes.
oh yeah, yeah. I have a cabinet here that's just got nothing but boxes in it.
Yeah, I've got all the boxes. I posted a photo of my D700's box, the gold box, on Instagram
Mhm.
a couple weeks ago, and I think it's my most liked photo. Everyone was just like it was a new camera or something. But,
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
evokes something in you.
I remember those days, man. It's you
Chuck
know
in the
who?
other language versions of of your manual that you don't need.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like yeah, all the dead trees that they killed to give you 13 languages that you don't understand.
Right.
No one's
PDF?
reading it.
Have you
Yeah,
heard of
exactly.
PDF? Have you heard of PDF? Yeah, it's crazy. Guys, let's move on with the show. God, time just keeps flying. Look at this. So continuing on with this modular discussion, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Google's modular phone, which is titled Project Ara. All right, guys, we are back. So Google, at the recent I/O conference for developers, shared some more details about this modular phone concept that they are launching, and apparently they gave some launch dates. It says it's going to be available this fall for developers. So it's it's interesting. So continuing on the discussion with, like we were talking about the Craft camera, this is a modular cell phone that lets you do the same thing. Take pieces off, put pieces on, and kind of make the perfect camera, or the perfect phone for you. So again, is this the future? Tim Engel, is the future of cell phones modular, or do you just want a slab of metal and glass that does what you want it to do, and then you'll pay through the nose again for the upgrade?
I don't know. I think that as much as I love the modular 4K system, I'm not into the phone system. Um, I just need it to be a slab of glass in my pocket that I can pick up and do what I want with it. If I want to add an accessory, I'll add a speaker. Um, yeah, I'm not into the idea of pulling pieces apart and
Now,
Like, who is though? I'm wondering who
yeah.
is. Like, I'm the same way because I have my phone. I just wanted to. The only thing I want to worry about with my phone is charging it, and even then, I don't. I just want it to work
Well,
every single time.
maybe one of these modules will be an extra battery thing, kind of like a Mophie, right? So
Yeah.
if you wanted to, if you're someone who's using your smartphone like crazy, you might have a couple extra battery modules. I don't know. But is the camera module going to be separate? Did it say that? I didn't see anything that said
Yeah.
that you.
I thought that. Let's see. It says there are 6 slots in total. The modules come in 1x2 rectangles or 2x2 squares. And in the video that we'll link to in the post for this, or link to on the next web, this came to us from the next web. It's got an e-ink display for notifications and glanceable information, camera modules with different lenses and or sensors, speaker and microphone arrays, a kickstand. Oh, finally. Programmable touch-sensitive module, non-functional style module,
Wait. Did you say kickstand?
a kickstand,
Wow, that's some innovation right there.
a
But
kickstand,
um,
and
all
a
right, so
fingerprint reader.
so could you put multiple camera modules in this?
or kickstand, multiple kickstands.
Multiple kickstands, yeah.
See,
No,
it's people like you that Google's like, you know what? They could just buy an old Android phone.
if you could put multiple cameras in this, that would be kind of cool. So if you're more photocentric, you could have maybe 2 or 3 different cameras in there. Maybe you have one that shoots IR. Maybe you have one that's specifically for low light. You have one that's more wide, more that's one telephoto.
Or stereo.
Yeah, it's endless, right? That could
Yeah,
be kind of cool.
but you know what I would say to that? I mean, if you're going to go through all that, that means you're kind of serious about your photography. You'd probably have a proper camera at that point. You know, why would you go and get all these different pieces to erector set or Lego together this thing when you could just get, when you want to take awesome photos, get a proper camera, take your awesome photos, and go grab your your cheap phone and be on with your day.
Well, maybe it's not about taking awesome photos. I mean, look at how many times do you leave your DSLR at home and you have something like I've got the Sony RX100 Mark IV, which
I
is
can
a
tell you,
great.
I leave my DSLR at home 100% of the time.
Exactly, right? So you bring like I said, the little Sony RX100 Mark IV is a very pocketable camera, but maybe there's other times you don't even want to bring that. But you want to, you might encounter some situations, you're going to the beach with your family, whatever, and you want to take photos, but you don't want to bring a bunch of lenses. You don't want to bring anything that zooms in and out and can get, sand in there and stuff. So maybe you get one of these, and maybe it has 2 or 3 different camera options available to you. But, ultimately, pretty small market, right? I mean, but we're talking about just from a photography perspective. This phone in general, who knows?
Yeah, I mean, and these are just the modules that they launched with. So I could see like expanding my mind beyond, the myopicness of photography. I could see that you could have this phone, and they could develop different sensors for scientific purposes that could go on there, investigative purposes that could go on there. Health purposes, like there's a company in San Francisco that has developed a sensor that you drop some food in it before you eat it, and it'll tell you the gluten level of it. So there's all kinds of little things like that. But then again, I'm just thinking, it's like the DxO1 camera, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And you slap it onto your iPhone, you take great photos. It's just like something else, And when
how does this hold up in the weather? How does this hold up if I change, if I get dust in it? Do I have a bunch of modules in my pocket now jingling around?
Exactly.
So I'm kind of getting away. I mean, the phone because it's the phone. It's one piece, like we said earlier. It's in my pocket. I can pull it out. I don't have to worry about changing. Oh, wait, I got to get the... Oh, shot's gone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my wife took my camera module. Dang,
Maybe there's a change module, and you can hold like 37 cents in there or something. I don't know, right?
Exactly. Hold exactly, 1 quarter.
Yeah,
dime,
a quarter, a nickel, and a dime. So back in like 1954, you had a lot. You had money for dinner right there in your phone, right?
Right.
More. But you know what? One thing we know is Apple's probably not going to do something like this, right?
I can't see an Apple doing something like this. This doesn't feel Apple at all. It feels Apple's going, I don't know, from my consumer perch, it seems like they're going thinner, lighter, faster. What's that?
No holes. Supposedly the new speakers are,
Oh, really? Oh,
no
yeah.
ear.
Yeah. I mean, what I would like from my iPhone, Apple, if you're listening, is just get rid of the chin and the forehead of the iPhone. So all of this up here and all of this down here, make that screen. I just want this whole thing to be screened, 16 by 9, the whole thing screened. That's what I would like.
What about a kickstand?
I don't need a kickstand.
I've got that in my case right here.
Oh, look at you!
It's a Spigen Tough Armor or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they make good cases.
Now, do you find yourself using that actually?
No. No. No.
I can't. I was gonna say I can't remember a situation that I've been in with my phone that I'm like, oh, I would have been so much more successful in this situation had my phone had a kickstand on it.
Frederick, I'm 45. That's an iPhone 6 Plus. Do you think I'm watching anything on that darn screen? I've got right in front of me. I've got an iMac, a 27-inch iMac 5K. That's what I'm watching stuff on.
I mean, I can see how it could be good for the occasional plane flight, right? Where, if you're on one of those unfortunate airlines that don't have movies or something, and you have your phone with you, you can set your phone there and watch movies. And I thought I would do that, on a couple of trips. I brought my little iPad with me. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to load some movies up. I'm going to watch them. I never end up watching movies on planes. I don't know why. It's just like, I'd rather read or sleep or work on my computer or make notes on a piece of paper. I never end up watching movies for some reason. But, maybe I'm weird. I don't know. So, I mean, again, the question goes back to story number 1. Is the future module or modular, Tim? Like if you take this concept beyond the craft camera that's modular and Project Ara that's modular, will we start seeing these kind of things in our desktop? Like my iMac here is going to be modular. Or software. What about software? Like Adobe. I've been saying for years, Adobe should do the whole Ma Bell thing with Photoshop, break it up into component parts, and let me just buy the pieces I want. I could buy a base level Photoshop, and then on top of that, let me buy video or whatever I want to stick onto that base level, and don't charge me for the whole thing.
How about they speed up Lightroom first?
Yeah, and see now that's just crazy talk. That's just crazy talk.
But aren't we doing that now with the iPhone?
How? And by the way, Lightroom's plenty fast for me. I don't know. You might need to, you might need to upgrade your system or defrag your hard drive.
Well, you talk about adding,
Remember that?
and you talk about adding things. It's like I have a base iPhone. I add the software in that way that I want to do the things I need.
Well, yeah, because there are bits and pieces, right? So, yeah, we are in that app economy where you can just say, oh, I just need this one app that'll do that thing. I'm saying, on the software side, Photoshop is already an industry standard, right? So it's out there. Why not give me the base level, kind of like Photoshop 3?
Sure.
Give me Photoshop 3, and that costs this much money, relatively cheap. And then I can say, you know what? I need to do some kind of video stuff or cinematograph stuff or whatever in Photoshop. I'm gonna buy this video module, tack it on there, and maybe it's even a rental. I just rent it for 2 months or whatever, and it shows up in my app and then goes away after my subscription is over. And then maybe later down the road, I need what other Frankenstein features that are in Photoshop, I can add those in, or camera raw support or whatever, I can add them in either on a permanent or a temporary basis, not clogging me down with it's like having the entire Target store in your house all the time in case you might need some toilet paper, right? So just let me get the toilet paper when I need it and then, leave the rest of the stuff on the shelf.
I think we'll move towards, I think what On One did that, where they're doing a lot of pieces to their software, and you have the modules for that. So I think that'll happen. I think even in the hardware, I think we're going to see more modularity.
I hope so.
And I think that it's
I want to see it everywhere. I want to see it in everything. I want my car to be modular. I want to be able to say, you know what, today I feel like having a electric motor in there.
All right, Richie Rich.
Yeah, right there. You remember Richie Rich? Yeah.
45.
Just get your Tesla, and then you can add pieces to it.
Yeah, no. Tesla, unfortunately, is not in the cards for me right now. One day. It's a race. It's a race to the Tesla. So I have to be young enough to be able to enjoy it and not look ridiculous driving it.
Right.
But I also have to get it in that window of time that I can, actually be plausible driving a Tesla.
Plus, there's a multi-year waiting list too.
For all Teslas or just for the new one?
For the new one, isn't it?
The one that you want.
Well, we're totally digressing. I think I want that sport utility looking Tesla with the gull wing doors.
That'd be cool.
That is kind of cool. Although I saw one on the street, and a friend of mine was like, "That's ugly. It looks like."
And then you can open up the door and launch your drone.
No, she said it looks like a Prius with a weight problem.
And then the license plate says D-Bag1.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah, exactly.
Well,
but I still like it. I love that car. I think it's cool. I sat in one.
Yeah.
That is like, you talk about living in the future, that car is ridiculous.
How much do those things go for? How many Alexes are those?
Equipped as Frederick would want to take ownership of it, about $130,000, I think. So, which means it's gonna be written on my vision board for a while.
Time to sell the house and live in the Tesla.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you can just record from there.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Frederick, why is your Tesla so full of clothes and household goods?
Oh, yeah.
It's like, don't ask me about it. Whatever. Just hit the windows. Oh man, see how these shows go. All right, guys, if you want to check out Project Ara from Google, we'll link to it in the show notes. There's an excellent article with a bunch of cool embedded videos in it on the Next website, which we'll also link to. All right, guys, we are going to move on to the next story. The last story, Instagram. So this always, like, people on the web are crazy.
No.
I was going to try to buffer that, but I'm just like, people are crazy. So Instagram redesigned. They designed it. They want to simplify, redesign, get rid of the skeuomorphism of their icon, and reduce the colors to black and white to better present your photography, make things look simpler, more, cleaner, etc. And the internets pulled out the pitchforks and torches and just went after Instagram like they had, threatened to build a wall between Mexico and the United States or something. It's like
We're back to that again, Frederick.
It's on my mind, man. It's on my mind.
461.
These things are on my mind. I'm an
Clearly.
informed and caring citizen. Um, but Instagram, so they redesigned their app and their icon. Who cares? And so now, and they're testing business profiles, and the internet just went insane about it.
Stupid.
Yeah, I mean,
the new icon is just dumb. You spend all these years building your brand identity. An amazingly, everyone knows that icon, and then what do? You change it. Why? For what purpose? Into this weird looking purple to orange kind of looks like one of those popsicles you'd get from the ice cream man,
Yeah, but all their icons match. And my point. See, and you're one of the pitchfork people. So I'm.
No, I don't care.
My point is, you know what? Who? It's like, it's almost like complaining about the design of the bag that's carrying your groceries after you leave the store. It's like, this bag is a horrible logo design on it. Who cares about the container? It's all about what's in the container, not what's on the container.
It took me all of 10 seconds to find Instagram on my phone again. A, I know where Instagram was, where I put it, and B, it says Instagram on it. I just pressed right there and I was done. And then guess what? When you press it, that annoying logo that you don't care about, or you do care about so much, is gone. You don't see it again.
It's gone. Yeah, it's gone.
It is so stupid. But I just, but just back to brand identity, because photographers do this too. You build this brand identity and then you chuck it out the window. It just seemed pointless.
Mm-hmm.
But what's really cool is the upcoming features they have, the analytics and the
tell me about those.
Whatever.
Talk about those a little bit.
Well, you're going to be able to see where your audience is. Like you've got more than me, I think. I've got 13.7 thousand followers on Instagram. That's not too bad.
I honestly have no idea how many people are following Instagram.
Way to connect with the audience there, Freddie.
I don't look at those numbers,
Freddie, I don't know if you know this, but Freddie cares.
Oh my God! See,
Freddie does.
Wait, where's the mute button? I think there it is.
I didn't say F-R-E-D.
Oh, geez.
Yes.
I said Freddie.
Yeah.
But
so you're coming out because I said only girls called me Freddie. So you're clearly Sharky James on This Week in Photo. You have something to tell us?
I didn't want to mention anything, Freddie. Oops, sorry. Yeah, I'm a 6'4" woman. But these analytics, you're going to be able to tell where your audience is down to the city. Yeah. So you're gonna have what country they're from, and I don't know exactly how that's. You really don't care if you're a photographer. Let's say you're a photographer in St. Louis, Missouri, and most of your audience is in Yugoslavia or something, or actually it's not even Yugoslavia anymore. Nice 1980s reference there. They're in Russia, whatever.
Yeah.
That doesn't do you a whole lot of good. So maybe at least I need to target some local people more. So that'll be able to and then if you want to really niche down to the city, that's going to be able to help you as well. It'll also tell you, I understand, when your audience is most active. And so I talk about this on the Petapixel Photography podcast a lot, is that if you're a photographer, especially if you have a photography business and you're not on Instagram, you're getting rid of a whole lot of clients. If you're doing senior photos, if you're doing engagements and stuff, those are people that are 16, 17, 18 into their 20s and such. Those are the people you want to target. You want to put your photos on there. You want to have a presence on Instagram, and you want to be engaged with your audience.
And Tim, you can attest to this, right? Because when you invite me up and we do those model shoots or whatever, the models generally they're like Facebook. What's that? We're on Instagram. We all it's all about Instagram now.
Yep.
Right? Or am I wrong?
Yeah, no. We always connect whenever we get a shoot. We always try and connect the crew with the models to everybody's friended each other on that.
Mm-hmm.
Or following. Yeah, I said friend.
Yeah.
Facebook.
Facebook is where mom and grandma are to the kids,
Yeah, it's interesting. So this new algorithm and these business profiles that Instagram is testing, because Instagram is owned by Facebook, obviously they're leveraging their ad serving and profiling and demographic algorithms to kind of graft them into Facebook to start leveraging Facebook more as the ad platform that Facebook is, and like Tim says, might be declining, right? So, yeah, it makes sense, but it's also scary because I've seen some videos that are highly plausible that talk about I mean, everyone knows that, when you post something on Facebook, Facebook makes their decision on who of your friends are going to get to see whatever you post, right? So that's
Right.
strike one. And then, the thing is, in order for you to increase your audience or boost it, you can pay some money and more people will see your post. There was some question around the metrics and how they boost those posts on Facebook. In other words, they say, hey, we're going to boost this and get you, you can go from the 12 people that saw it for free, we can get that up to 24,000 people for, $35 or $40 or whatever. But those people are coming from, in a lot of cases, from click farms around the world where people are just paid to click, 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 through your thing, and they don't really care that Sharky wrote this post that he put his blood, sweat, and tears into. They're just giving clicks, So I don't know. I want to investigate that more. I'd be interested in the TWiP audience chiming in on that and letting us know, what are your thoughts on the validity of advertising on a platform like Facebook, and does it actually move the needle at any point in terms of conversions or likes or whatever? So yeah, interesting. So Sharky, you don't care about the Instagram redesign, right? You're okay with it?
It's whatever. I don't care.
It's like whatever.
It seems like most of the internet's got over this in like a day and a half, and they're back to what Kim Kardashian or Kylie Jenner or somebody's done. It's like it's just stupid.
I know. Yeah, that's what the internet does. And when I say the internet, I mean us, because we are part of the internet.
We're part of the Borg collective known as
we
the
are. Yeah. We're like drone number 5753 complaining about the collective. So sad. And that just solidified my geek cred for the entire audience.
And you're at 15,000 right now, by the way.
I have 15,000 on Instagram?
Yeah.
Look at that.
I'm catching up.
Look at that. I got to do something. Hey, TWiP listeners, I got to beat Sharky James, so please follow me on Instagram. It's Frederick Van. Follow me on Instagram.
And while you're there, follow Lens Shark.
Lens Shark. And on the Lens Shark profile, hashtag Frederick Van, and on Frederick Van, hashtag Lens Shark. Yeah. Tim, what's your Instagram profile?
Tim Engel.
Just Tim Engel?
Yeah, or Engel Photo. I have 3 accounts.
Why do you have 3 accounts? Are you running from the law? What's going on?
I decided just to post just the pro work on one account.
Yeah.
And then like the everyday stuff on another account, and then we have the stuff that Christine and I do on another account.
Oh, okay. That gets a little complicated. I can barely keep up with one, obviously, and you have 3.
Yeah. It's pretty easy.
Well, at least you can switch now in the Instagram app, which is great. That is... So it makes it so much easier now.
That is true, and that's why I turned on the This Week in Photo Instagram account finally after 900 years, because now you can do that. So we do have a This Week in Photo Instagram account with 0 followers on it. So please follow This Week in Photo so that we can at least feel relevant in the Instagram verse.
And that was the big news when they did that. The redesign, I don't care.
Yeah. As long as it works, it's like okay, whatever. All right, guys, we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, these guys are going to share their picks of the week. All right, guys, we are back. It is time to jump into the picks of the week segment. Remember, gentlemen, you can pick anything as long as it is somehow even, Sharky, tangentially related to photography. Sharky James, you're the new kid on the block here. What is your pick of the week?
I was hoping you would do that. So I'm a new kid 2 episodes in, huh? Okay.
Yeah, you're still a new kid.
There's this company that I've been seeing on Facebook, because that's where us old people hang out, for, I don't know, maybe a year or so. And it's gravity backdrops. I kept seeing it. I've seen, I don't know if you know Miguel Aquiles he's a Sony artisan, good friend of mine, Jeff Rojas, Joseph Perry, a bunch of people are using these backdrops from gravitybackdrops.com. They're made, what they say is they're, well, they don't say this, but you guys all know Oliphant, right?
Mm-hmm.
Quality and they're like cotton, whatever it is.
Wait, Oliphant? You mean Timothy Oliphant, the hitman?
Oliphant, the backdrop.
Hand-painted.
Okay.
So
just saying, that's the hitman.
Yeah. They're very expensive and they're worth it. So this company comes along, and the guy that runs the company, he's a medical doctor in Serbia. His name is Miroslav. I think it's Miroslav Stojanovic. He goes by Mimi Stojanovic. I'm sure a lot of people think he's a woman, but he's actually a man. And he's in Serbia, and he's got this company, Gravity Backdrops, and they make these amazing backdrops that are a third of the price of what you pay for an Oliphant or comparable, and that's just amazing.
Now, are these are these seamless paper? Are they painted? Are they canvas? What are they?
They're cotton canvas that are painted with acrylic paints, and each one is unique. I mean, they have like these big rollers, and they've got these guys that are these artisans that are creating these amazing Look at the photos on the website. This is definitely, you want to check out Gravity Backdrops, gravitybackdrops.com to see it. Unbelievable backdrop. So if you're doing studio portraiture, why spend 3 times the amount for a backdrop? And Oliphant's great, but they're expensive. So here's a way to save, the TWiP army and the Petapixel army. You guys want to save money? They've got great backdrops at a third of the price.
Love it.
And they're shipping them from Serbia, but I think they ship for via DHL, and it only takes like a few days to get to the States. But
really
I kept
cool. I want to check those out.
I kept seeing it over and over again on Facebook, and all these guys are using them, and they just rave about them. I mean, the photos, speak for themselves. And look at the quality is great.
What are they costing?
What was that?
What's the cost?
I'm trying to
let's
find
see.
Let me find that right now. Let's see.
Here.
Promotions about. I'm on the site now, guys.
They've got them listed in euros. I wrote it down. It was let's see. The smallest size is 330. Let's see. I think it's $330 US, and then the next size up is $395, and then $440.
I want to see some shots from like photographers that we know that have used these.
Like I said, do you know Sony artisan Miguel Quiles?
I don't know him, but I'll definitely look him up.
He's using it, and what about Jeff Rojas? Jeff Rojas is using it. There's this guy, we just had him do an intro on our show, Joseph Perry. He's in the UK, and his goal, he's got one of the backdrops. His goal is to just abuse that thing and put it through just holy hell and see if it holds up. And here, like 4 or 5 months in, it looks great still.
Really? It just it gets better with age kind of thing, right?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, you've seen the photos, so, just do a search online. People love these things. And I don't have any financial ties or anything. I don't do portraiture, like I said. I don't even shoot much these days. Sport. When I do, it's mostly sports and stuff. So, but they're beautiful, and the quality is just, everyone just raves about them, and they're getting 3 for the price of, I mean, if you can only afford 1 backdrop, that's all you're gonna ever use. You've got that one look. So now you can get 3 backdrops for the price of 1. That just, if you're a portrait photographer.
I can see Tim's over there calculating. Look at him on the site right now. Tim, in your studio, would you use something like this? I mean, you got that giant seamless white cove in there, but would you use backdrops like this?
I actually used one today.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
From who?
From Christine. She painted it.
Oh, look at that. Backdrops by Christine.
That's great. And these are hand painted, so that seems like to be the way to go.
Yeah, it was a painter's tarp, and she painted it.
That's so cool. So cool. So I guess going to Denny's manufacturing is old school for your backdrops.
I think I still have a catalog from way back.
I used to dream in that catalog when I was in the military. I'd have my Denny's catalog, like, oh man, look at that, a posing stand. Imagine if I had that.
A giant 2000. Oh no, actually back then it'd be 1999, right?
1975. What? No, I'm kidding.
Anyways, if you want to check out these backdrops, gravitybackdrops.com is where they're at, and the photos. I mean, look at the website. The photos are amazing.
Yeah.
It was very cool. I think Tim probably clicked that buy now button already, didn't you?
I'm trying to transfer from euros into dollars right now, so give me a second.
It seems like I wrote it down. If it's correct, 300 for the smallest size, 330 US. I think, or maybe it's 300. I think it's 300 euros for a 1.6 by 2.5 meter size, 400 euros for a 2.1 by 2.6 meters, and 350 euros for the next size up, I guess. I don't know.
Nice. Very cool.
I'll take the small one, portrait.
You're tempting me to start shooting again, Sharky James.
They're beautiful. I mean, seamless is great, but look at these things. And like I said, Oliphant and other companies make great ones, but hey, photography is expensive, and if you can save yourself hundreds, why not?
Yeah, I love it.
Right?
Very cool. Very good pick of the week, man. Thank you.
Awesome.
Perfect. All right, Tim Ingle, you're up, man. What is your pick of the week?
So this is something I've had in my bag for a while, and I just recently started using again. And it's a custom bracket. It's the little CB Mini RC from Custom Brackets.
Mm-hmm.
And forever I used to shoot and hold the flash fairly close to the lens until I found this bracket. And I love the fact that it's so close. I shoot vertically with it a lot, and so that it's literally like right over the lens where the way mine's configured. And I just love that.
What do you like? Okay, so help me understand. I thought these kind of brackets were, and this is coming from a position of complete ignorance, obviously, but I thought these were old school, like because like you're like in a studio situation, you're shooting with either Pro Photos or Alien Bees or your Einsteins or whatever, and using light modifiers and reflectors and all that stuff. Or if you're outside, maybe reflectors for fill or to diffuse the light over the head of the model, that kind of thing. Why would you bracket the flash to your camera, to your DSLR?
And on access too.
And on axis
Yeah,
to
on
increase
axis,
the chances of red eye, right?
Well, and I actually shot a bunch of stuff yesterday with a family event outdoors with it. And what I've been doing is going 2 stops under on the camera and 2 stops over on the flash. And so,
Okay, so basically 0.
We active the background drops down, and so I had clouds yesterday that the clouds played really nice.
Oh, those shots that you sent me, yeah.
So I give
you're underexposing the ambient light.
Yep. And then and the flash is bringing it back to kind of like normal.
Okay.
And it's just, I like the look of it. I turned them black and white. I did some stuff with my son's track team during a really cloudy day, and it's just something very different. It gives me a look that I can't, I don't want to bring all of my stuff out, when I'm just doing random stuff. And so to have this is just a good way of adding that light there, and it's like, having it on axis looks really nice for me.
Love it. Cool.
Maybe,
and what does that cost?
They aren't real expensive. Are they like?
Let's see. I'm on the site. Oh, $55.
Yeah, like $50.
Not bad.
Maybe what Canon and Nikon need to do is have a modular camera where you can just slide in your flash right there into the other side of the grip, right?
Yeah.
or they could have a modular system where you slide the money that you would have paid for a Nikon or Canon into a Fuji or a Sony or a Lumix.
Hey, those mirrors are expensive, man.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, you can save $1 million on just no mirrors right there. Very cool, Tim. That's a good pick. So that's it. Custom brackets. It's the CB Mini RC, 1/4 inch 20 mount for $55.
And I've bought things from them for years. So I used to use the one with. Actually, I think my Veronica bracket was from them. So I had the flash that went over the top of the old wedding bracket.
Isn't that the company that has the one where you can?
Oh yeah, I remember those.
You can easily turn it, right?
Yeah.
It's on like a little rail kind of thing. Yeah, that's pretty cool. They make quality stuff.
Yep.
Look at that. Yeah, those were the days. Those
Look
are
at
cool.
Tim going old school like that.
I know, articulated little hydraulic vertically twisting thing. Keep the flash on top of your camera.
Flash powder up there and all.
Oh, I know. I used to have the string I'd measure to their nose if I know the exact distance.
If you're really cool, you bring out the flash cubes, right?
Oh no, yeah.
Hey, you kids, get off my lawn.
And you can throw those at their feet too, and they explode. So it works good.
Oh man, what memories? You guys are dating me for real. All right. So my pick of the week. I have a pick of the week. So and it is a gratuitous sort of narcissistic pick of the week. So last week, we officially launched the TWiP School, This Week in Photo School, at school.thisweekinphoto.com. And in the school, we launched a brand new course as part of the 5-day deal, which is now available to everyone as you listen to this, because the 5-day deal will be concluded by the time you hear this. So it is available to purchase for everyone, and it is called, I'm going to share my screen here and show you guys what it looks like. It's called Digital Video Alchemy. So I traveled, and tell me if you guys can see that. You can see that, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, so me and a couple of other photographers traveled to the Yucatan, the Mexican Yucatan Peninsula, to create this thing. And what we did was we shot a full music video with two musicians, a sitar player, and a singer, and we put them on Mayan pyramids, we put them in cenotes, we put them on the beach in Tulum, Mexico. We were all over the place. We were shooting with Osmos and drones and mirrorless cameras and Sonys and everywhere, and we took all that footage and synthesized it into an awesome music video, and we created this course to show you exactly how we did it. So I just wanted to promote this because we put a lot of hard work into it, and I'd love for the TWiP Army to go check it out and tell me what you think about it. So it is available now in the TWiP school in all its glory, and all the modules are there for you to go check out and poke through. And that's at school.thisweekinphoto.com, and the name of the course is Digital Video Alchemy. So
Look at you, Frederick.
hey,
Getting
man,
stuff done.
I know stuff, man. I know stuff. Yeah, it's good, man. The cool thing about the TWiP school, a little inside baseball on that, is it's been a long time coming, and I put that thing together so that the hosts of the shows on the This Week in Photo network, on the TWiP network, we now have a place to do additional long-form trainings instead of trying to, if there's some sort of tip or technique that we want to talk about in a podcast, we can do that. But now we can really blow it out. For example, on Street Focus, Valerie Jardin can go in and do a tutorial on street photography. Jen can do a training on family photography. We can go in depth on gear, with Doug and all about the gear, on and on and on. We can alpha mirrorless tutorials about Sony alpha cameras. All that stuff will manifest itself inside of the new TWiP school.
I'd like to do one on how not to actually take photos. Start a podcast.
I was gonna say, yeah, for $97, and all you get is one module with Sharky going. Just start a podcast, dude.
Start a podcast and get picked up by a petapixel, and then don't sleep.
And you'll never shoot again.
And sell your gear.
There you go. And sell your gear. But yeah, that's my pick of the week. Digital Video Alchemy course in the brand new TWiP school at school.thisweekinphoto.com. All right, guys, we're at the end of the show. Let's close this off. Tim Engel, what are you working on? What do you got coming up? What's on your plate, man?
Well, I believe we're working on a show that's coming out.
Yes.
On the 1st of July, I think.
What's that show going to be about? What is it?
Fashion.
Speaking of never shooting again because you started a podcast, what's your podcast going to be about?
Yeah, we're going to get into fashion photography from a model's angle, from a photographer's angle. We're going to talk to the people in the industry that make that stuff happen.
Very cool.
Cool. What's it called?
Fashion Focus.
Nice.
Look at that. Yeah. Look at that. Very cool. The empire grows. What else you got to go into?
And then I'm working on right now, I got, what am I up to? 23 attorney offices I'm shooting for an assignment. Between now and probably like the middle of June. So I think I'm at like 12 down, and trying to wrangle those guys and their schedules is quite an effort. And you basically get, you have to set up lights. You get about 8 minutes before they totally lose interest and want to walk away. And so you have to set up, get the shot, and get out. And
then you have to have that consistent look across all their photos.
Yeah, you got to keep. Yeah, so there's
you're writing down settings and the whole deal.
Yeah, the two scenarios today presented, one with a great light and one with no light, and so you have to figure it out quick because they would not wait around. So
that's almost like wedding photography right there, right?
Yeah.
Or celebrity photography where you got to get a shot of, some celebrity that has 2.5 reluctant minutes before they have to get on to their next thing.
Oh no, and it's like years ago in my newspaper life, I learned really quickly how to try and get them at ease and get the shot, and so it's a skill I've worked on.
You've got two former photojournalists on the show.
So you know.
Yeah, that's an exercise in humility and
two
patience.
former poor photojournalists.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, were you a photojournalist, Sharky?
Yeah, I was a photojournalist for a number of years.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah.
Love it. That's my brother right there, then.
The last
all right.
thing, yeah, then I got vacation, and we're doing a vacation with the family to Zion.
Nice.
And so then that will be also me photo walking.
Are you gonna live stream your Zion National Park adventure with your Osmo connected to Facebook Live?
if they ever update it.
I know. It's coming, right? That was announced today.
Don't give me the release and then not have the app waiting for me as soon as I'm done reading the release.
Yeah. I was gonna say maybe they're on Chinese time, but that would mean they're a day ahead of us. So it should have been out yesterday.
Right. It should have been out when I woke up. It should have been done.
It should have been done. Yeah. I don't know.
Right. But vacation with the family, and then I'm gonna turn that also into some shooting.
Very cool. Well, cool, man. Always a pleasure to have you on This Week in Photo, man. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
All right. Mike Sharkey James from the Petapixel Photography Podcast, man. What are you working on?
All right, I'm still writing those books that we discussed about a month ago in TWiP 461.
What are you doing talking to me? Those books are not going to write themselves, man.
Oh, I tell you, if you want to you don't want your hair to turn gray or to fall out, start writing a book. Start a podcast and then start writing a book or two at the same time.
Now, are these like dead tree books? Are these ebooks? Are these like what kind of books are they?
Unless a book publisher comes along and wants to, chop down some trees and publish it, these are going to be ebooks, easily Kindle, all that. And it's, photography from my perspective, like we said back in TWiP 461, no one else can be me. So it's going to be, if you listen to the Petapixel Photography Podcast, my personality. You heard it here on the show. It's going to be that. It's going to be a little bit of comedy. I don't know if anyone's done a comedy photography book before. Maybe I just put that out there for everyone. Someone go do that.
I've never heard of a comedy photography book. So good. Perfect.
There you go. I just gave a ton of people an idea right there. But no, that's fine. So it's going to be, from my perspective. But, I've got that going on. Also, you laid down the gauntlet. So the Petapixel Photography Podcast Nation and the TWiP Nation, get out there. Follow us on Instagram. I'm Lensshark, LENSSHARK. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm mostly on Instagram these days. Go ahead, follow Frederick too. Hashtag us, the whole deal.
Yeah, just follow me too. But okay, question.
Sure.
Since you're working on your social media presence and building all that stuff up, Lensshark, are you posting primarily through Instagram and then auto posting out to Facebook, or do you post on Instagram and then go load up Facebook and purpose craft a post for Facebook?
I'm doing everything separately. Because I see, when I see something on Facebook and it says, it was posted on Instagram, I feel like it's like, I don't know, for me personally, it feels like an afterthought. Like, well, this guy, posted it on Instagram and just kind of drilled it out to everywhere else. So I think you need to.
How dare this guy have a life?
Yeah. How dare he be so darn efficient?
Spending all your time online like the rest of us, dude. Come on.
Efficiency is horrible. How dare you? So no, I'll post on Instagram and if you were to follow, let's say my friend Miguel Quiles. He's Sony Artisan. He's got all his, beautiful portraits and everything he's doing. If you follow me, it's a little bit of this, it's a little bit of that. I'm a photography podcaster. So when I'm out there shooting, if I shoot a game or something like that, I'll post that, or I post other people's photos. They, give me permission to do that and try to expose my audience, which is growing. 13.7 thousand people. That's a good chunk of people, but we need to work on that. I need to catch up to Frederick.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's a lot of people. It's not quite 15,000, but it's,
it's almost, rounding error.
You'll probably pass me next week.
Oh, we'll see about that. Let's see how our armies do.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the Petapixel Photography Podcast, available in your favorite podcatcher. Just type in Petapixel in iTunes or whatever, and or you can go to petapixel.com/podcast and find us. And, it's a fun show.
It is. It is an awesome show. Are you guys in Google Play now? Google Play has added podcasting to their directory.
We're in Google Play, we're in iTunes, and as I said last time we were on TWiP, we were the very first photography podcast in Spotify, handpicked by Spotify to be the very first.
Very cool. Yeah, very cool. And by very cool, I mean I hate you, but very cool.
Let me tell you, the traffic coming out of Spotify, not exactly massive, but it, every little bit helps.
Yeah.
So, people, it's a streaming service, of course, for music, and people are starting to discover that you can get these things called podcasts, which a lot of people haven't heard of, maybe younger people. And so, in podcasting, we talk about discoverability and how they find you. Same thing with photographers, how they find you. Instagram these days.
Yeah.
So, and Spotify, wherever. You have to be. Who has that be everywhere strategy? Is that Pat Flynn or John Lee Dumas?
Flynn. That's Pat Flynn. Yeah, be everywhere. I think he wrote a book called that, Be Everywhere.
There you go. I should get a commission from that, Pat. So, but you have to be. You have to be on, or I'd say be everywhere that's important to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because you can't keep up with everything these days.
The Be Everywhere strategy. I read it. I own the Be Everywhere book, and I read it, and it's a really good book. I recommend it to anyone to check it out. Audio version is excellent as well. But when I look at that, I'm like, okay, Be Everywhere. That means that everywhere that I'm being, there's somewhere that I'm not. so,
Yeah.
so so I could be everywhere. I could be on Instagram, Pinterest, Google Plus, YouTube,
Hello.
etc. LO, yeah, on and on and on. But that also means that I'm not that shooting horizon keeps moving further and further away from me.
And that
So
also means a bed that you're not sleeping in.
yeah, and family I'm not hanging out with, and all this other stuff. So there's a balance. I would amend that to be almost everywhere, or be everywhere that you can be within a limited amount of time that you allot to be everywhere, and everything outside of that is shooting and family and actually living in the physical world versus the digital world.
I think we'd all agree that for photographers, Instagram, you have to be on Instagram these days.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
just have to be. That is where it's at. If you're not on there, people are not finding you.
Yeah, that's right. Instagram. Instagram. Yep. All right.
The horrible Instagram icon. Just ignore that and get on Instagram.
Nothing wrong with that icon.
Lick the icon. It looks like an ice cream cone or something, and just move on.
All right. Yeah. Direct all your hate mail about the Instagram icon to the Petapixel Photography Podcast. Steve C. or care of Sharky James. All right, guys. So I have one thing that I want to mention that's coming up for me towards the end of the year. Last year, many of the This Week in Photo listeners may know that I went on a 20-day trip. I think it was 20 days to Vietnam. So started in the north, moved all the way down to the south, shooting pictures at various cities on the way down with a group of about 11 to 12 photographers, and we had a blast. It was amazing. We were everywhere from Hanoi to, we were Halong Bay to everywhere. We were all over the place, taking great pictures, staying in great hotels, and eating great food. So we're going to rinse and repeat. We're going to do that again this year in November of 2016. We'll put a link to the page to sign up for this workshop on the in the show notes for this page for this show. But I'm going back again, going to make a few changes to the itinerary, make it even better than last year. And this year, I'm bringing my drone with me. So.
Uh-oh. I hope you enjoy Vietnamese presents.
I'm doing my homework. But I'm bringing the drone with me. It may stay in the hotel room.
Live.
Yeah, with no bandwidth. I'm gonna try. I'm at least gonna get some great photos. I was on Halong Bay. Google Halong Bay when you guys, listeners, when you get a chance, and look at this place where I was. It's just this amazing bay with these limestone structures that are shooting up vertically out of the water, and it's so hard to get a shot of them from the boat. We were on a boat out in the middle of them. I was trying to get a shot. I'm like, so
Drone.
I'm gonna get a shot from 1,000 feet and see what happens.
Wow. Hey, did you hear about those new Samsung cards? I think they're are they Samsung SD cards? They're waterproof. You might want to bring one of those because when the drone goes into the drink, you can get your card out.
That may happen. That may actually happen. But if that happens, I'm taking my Phantom 3, which by then will be about 2 years old, a year and a half.
Yeah, right.
Years old. So that'll be the impetus to go ahead and get the Phantom 4, or whatever's
Phantom 5.
Or Phantom 5 by then. Yeah.
Yep.
So I've thought this through, man. So if I come back to the United States with a drone intact, that's a bonus.
That's a win.
That's a win. I'm expecting not to. So
it sounds like you had a great time last time, and like you said, people freak out about traveling overseas, right? Yeah. And everything went mostly smoothly there.
It went completely smoothly, and I was like, the night before I was a wreck. I'm like, oh man, I'm going over here, and all this stuff happening overseas, and I should just stay here. And what do I pack? And I'm gonna get sick, and blah 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 blah. All this stuff. Nothing happened. It was just like going to Missouri, except everybody looked a little different, but it was.
And the Vietnamese people, from what I've heard, are wonderful.
They were everybody
nice.
was accommodating. Completely accommodating, so friendly. I had no problems at all. Zero. We just had, it was a blast the entire time. I made lifelong friends there. It was like going to camp, you know. But
I'm gonna go with you. One of these
bouncing
years,
from city to
Frederick.
city, going to camp. You know.
One of these years, Frederick, I'm coming with you to Vietnam.
Come on, man.
I got to
Come
go
on.
to Martin Bailey's Hokkaido workshop first.
You gotta go see those snow
Oh,
monkeys.
Snow monkeys. You got to
Yeah.
see the snow monkeys
I
with
gotta
Martin
see
Bailey.
the snow monkeys.
Right? You gotta.
I know. That's on my list too.
How do
That's
you
on my
pass
list.
that up?
You cannot. You have to see the snow monkeys, man. Yeah, I mean, you're right, but you got to see the world, man. Vietnam. Go to Martin to Hokkaido. See the snow monkeys. Go to
Antarctica.
Doug Kay. Go with Doug Kay on one of his Cuban adventures. I mean,
Iceland.
Iceland. I mean, there's
Yeah.
Valerie going to Paris all the time. All these places that you can go. It's amazing.
Martin goes to Antarctica like what, every year, every other year? What percentage of the world's population has been on Antarctica?
I know.
Very
Martin goes
little.
there so much. I think Martin might have another Antarctican family up there that he's, you know.
Whoa, what are you saying?
I'm kidding, Martin. I know.
Going controversial here.
That's
At
what
the
I
end
do.
of the show.
That's what I do. Hey, if you listen this long, you love This Week in Photo.
That's true.
All right, guys. Let's close this off. I want to thank our sponsors for this episode. That's FreshBooks and also me, the TWiP School, for sponsoring this episode of me, This Week in Photo. And also be sure to visit our website over at thisweekinphoto.com. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook, and help me beat Sharky James. Follow me on Instagram, Frederick Van, and post something like, you know, controversial and hashtag Sharky James and mention him in it.
Frederick mispronounced lens shark. Lenssshark.
What did I say? Lens?
No, I'm saying you said Frederick Van, but it's really pronounced lens shark.
Yes, yeah, lens shark, but spelled FREDERICKVAN.
Yeah. All right, TWiP Nation. As soon as the lens cap comes off, you're heading to Instagram and you're hitting lens shark.
Yeah, it's on, man. It's a battle.
I'm just gonna sit and watch the carnage.
It is a battle. Bring it. I want to see.
Down, Frederick.
I'm throwing the challenge out there. I want to see controversial, but keep it clean. Controversial posts on Instagram hashtagging LensShark on the Frederick Van profile. Follow him as well if you must. But but hashtagging him, and the best, most controversial post we'll talk about on This Week in Photo. So it's on, man.
Nice.
And you just jumped 2 more, Frederick. There you go.
Oh, did you follow me?
My other 2 accounts did.
Awesome. Look at that. See? I'm winning already.
Oh, thanks, Tim.
And
What did I ever do to you?
Lenshark got 1 more.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
All right, guys. All right. Sharky James, you want to close the show out? What do I say every time that we close the show?
I believe that you say, and with that, it's time to take that lens cap off.